Hey everybody, KC0BI Tom here. It is a gorgeous morning here in North Iowa. The weather gods are smiling upon us due to the fact we put, from the last video, we threw fill on the rotisserie and cooked them up for Mother Nature. Extended forecast right now for the next 10 days, we're going to have highs 60 to 70 degrees during the daytime. There's one day we may hit 80. Yes, that means summer's here. We're out of winter. We're going through spring real fast. As a good friend of mine from high school would say, eggs through a chicken, gas through a funnel, and if he had a little too much to drink, he would reverse it and be gas through a chicken and eggs through a funnel. That's when we knew to cut him off. But on that, and also the big one is the overnight lows. We're talking now in the 40s to upper 40s, lower 50s for the next 10 days. There's one day coming up, I believe that's Monday night around here. It is going to get down to possibly 35, so we're no longer going to have to worry about freezing, which means we can finally de-winterize poo. I pulled her out of storage, and we'll do a quick walk around like I like to do. Again, she's been sitting in storage here outside since probably November. I put her away, and she needs a little TLC. She didn't like the gas I left in her. We're going to have to probably pump that gas out or put some new stuff on top. What I like to do when we get the RV out of the storage, doesn't matter if it's a brand new RV to you or a used one, you know, girl like who. I like to just kind of look around. One thing I noticed right away, the temperature pressure monitoring system is going nuts because the tires have slowly lost some of that air over the winter. Take a look around, see how good my mic is with this wind. Again, she needs a good wash. Everything else looks pretty good. Gonna probably spend a day or two washing the outside, cleaning the inside, get her ready. We got a couple trips already in the planning stages. I had the battery charger on the chassis battery up front here, making sure that would start. I don't want to overwork the alternator. But all in all, she looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to touch up a little bit of my caulking on my seams, but one thing I did notice, we'll go over here, take a peek, my tire covers really broke down over the winter. You know, it's better to have these things get weather checked than your tires themselves. So, what we're going to do today is go through on a Howie de-winterizer. Last fall I winterized the water system. I'm trying something different this year, or last year. I left it plugged in with the batteries in. As long as the batteries are fully charged, they won't freeze. And those things are getting heavy hauling them out. And again, these are AGM batteries. I think this is the last year I'm going to get them. They're 5 years old. You know, you get 5 to 6 years out of AGM, you're doing pretty good. I don't care if the manufacturer says it'll last 8. From what I've seen, about 5. Like a lead acid car battery, you get 2 to 3 years on that, you're doing pretty good. I probably will not go to the lithium route due to the fact that that'd be a lot of work on this old girl to switch over the charging circuit for lithium, because lithium's charge almost at 14 volts compared to AGMs are like 13.6, 13.4. Your regular lead acid batteries in your car are 12.8, 12.6. So let's get her ready, get her cleaned up, let's go. One thing I forgot to show her inside on the walkthrough, I checked everything, cabinets, under counter storage, all that, just looking for, you never know what you're going to find, and didn't find anything, which is good. No water leaks, which is good. No chocolate droppings here and there, which is good. And we'll put everything back together, get her parked, and continue on. A lot of cleaning out there, as you know. It's a little dirty here and there. You want to get your garden hose out, and again, you want to make sure you use a dedicated water hose to fill your water tanks and a different hose to flush out your black tank. You don't want to cross mix that. You don't want to use your garden hose on the side of the house to fill the water. You want to make sure you protect that water. You never know what's going to crawl inside there, and you don't want that in your water system. So what I do when I'm not using, I just connect the two ends together like so. I have, this is probably a 6-footer, I got a 10-footer and a 25-footer white hose. The reason they're white because they're on sale at Runnings one fall, is in there, so I picked them up. They're end of the season, so some people swear you have to use these are safe to drink. Trust me, of all the water I drank out of garden hoses when I was growing up, it hasn't affected me, you know. But let's get this going. I got my hose running to the faucet, and I always got my little brass fitting on the end. Just let a little bit of water to run through. We'll close her off. We'll put the adapter on, and we'll get this going. Okay, we got the hose hooked up to the city water intake. Again, I flushed this out. I got my adapter. We don't really need the blue filter due to the fact that this water is just going to be dumped down anyway. It's not going to be in the system very long. And again, on your little blue water filter, if you're not using a blue one or one of the other ones, what I found is handy is put the date on when you first start it. You can get about 2 years out of these blues. The charcoal, make sure the water tastes good, and it filters all the big chunks out of your water system. So we get the line pressurized. We'll go around inside and I'll show you what we do in there. Okay, on the inside, on my system, your system, water system in your RV is going to be a little different. Get the manual out. A lot of times there might be a little pictorial on how it's written up. I have 3 drain points in my water line. One's down here by the pump on the cold water line. Then back over here. See how good this, there's 2 low point drains for the water pressure system. One's on the hot water line and one's on the cold water line. The cold water is right before it goes into the hot water heater, and the hot one's on the output. So what we'll reach down there and pop open both of them. There's one, there's the other. We'll let that run for a little bit. Now what's in there, what's in the line right now is just some antifreeze, RV antifreeze. Make sure you use the right stuff. We'll come over here to this one, and these are real easy. Just pull them up and they'll start flushing the line out. So we'll let that run for a couple minutes, and we'll go to the next. We'll let that run for a couple minutes. We'll go to the next step. We want to make sure we get all that antifreeze flushed out of the system. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to make the water taste really funny. Okay, I just stuck my head outside. I got clean water coming out of my drain points. So I shut those off, the 3 drain points. I'll come in here. We'll run the faucet. And you can see it's nice to pink color, and it goes off to clear. It's a little foamy. And now it's not that foamy. We'll shut it off. We'll go over to the hot side. Here's our pink. Now it's foamy. The water going down on the gray tank can be dumped. Again, this is just water and antifreeze. We'll hold that open like that for a little bit. Nope, I don't taste any of that bitter taste of the antifreeze. So we'll go over here and do the same thing on the bathroom. We got pink. Yeah, it's a little foamy now. Now the gray tank consists of these 2 sinks and the tub. The black or sewer tank is just a toilet. So we can dump the gray tank outside because it's just water and the antifreeze, which ain't gonna hurt anything. And the wind's picking up pretty good out there, so now we'll sneak into the bathroom here. This is always fun to do, and you will get wet doing this. And you can see all the. It's important that we get antifreeze in all these lines so we don't have a surprise in the springtime with a fractured line. Now the PEX tubing they use, in, at least I know in Pooh here, it can freeze, and you can get by if you catch it. Problem is, if it's a good, long, hard freeze, and then the ice is in there a long time, it can damage the pipe. But if you catch it and get rid of the ice, it doesn't seem to affect it. I had a couple times like that. We were out camping and it got really cold in the water line back here, to the bathroom here. That actually goes through the unheated storage compartment under the bed. So, okay, that looks good. I'll take a peek at, yeah, a little foamy. That looks good. Okay, so those lines are done. Now we'll go over to Mr. Toilet. As you can see, we want to make sure we have antifreeze in there to keep that gasket from freezing. We'll go ahead. It doesn't take much to get what we'll do, we'll make sure it looks nice. Yep, I'm not gonna taste this because I ain't gonna stick my finger in there. Looks good. Okay, so the pressurized lines are done. What I like to do is make sure you get enough water in the toilet, keep that gasket on that flapper good and moist, so it makes a good air seal so we do not get the stinky smells from the black tank up in here. One thing I did not tell you at the start of this, I actually had to put a couple blocks on one side of the camper to raise up the passenger side, lower the driver's side. I want to make sure that when we fill the fresh water tank, that's where that drain valve is on that one. So next step we have to do is flush out the water heater. We'll do that next. And on my bypass valves, if I open them, looks like that way. I think we go that way. There we go. That will put the system in, took it out of bypass. This is a 6-gallon heater, water tank in it. I don't want to buy 6 gallons of antifreeze, so you can put it in bypass. And we'll go outside and check, make sure you get that full of water, and we'll drain it. What I like to do here is on the pressure temperature relief valve, pop that open, and that's going to allow all the air on top of the water tank to pop out. Now, there's going to be somebody out there saying, well, you shouldn't play with those. They're a safety device, they're not a working device. Well, you also want to check it. It says right on there, open this up, check it once in a while. What that is, if the water heater gets too hot or too much pressure, that'll open up and relieve the pressure so the water tank doesn't go boom. It's a good idea to exercise those once in a while. It's just an O-ring on a plunger, and it's really easy to get some calcium or some crud in there. Okay, we got water coming out of there. That means that our tank is full. Now my sacrificial anal rod, close it off so I'm not walking in the water, and you will probably get wet when you do this. What I like to do on my anal rod, I bought a special one. It's got a little valve here I can open up, and that'll actually drain water from the bottom of the tank. So we'll get this propped open. Open this up again, and we'll go around, we'll shut the water off, we'll let this drain down. There's the water gurgling. I was a little concerned. It's actually the water tank on the outside draining. I'm going to open up those 3 drain points, because now that we got it all flushed out, we want to drain out the water of the system. Okay, we got the water hose shut off. We're no longer putting water into the poo. We got the 3 drain points opened up. The water heater is also opened up. And what I like to do, the kitchen faucet is the highest point in the water line, so I open that up, and that's going to allow air to go back in through here and help drain out the lines. It's real important, anytime you're not camping or you're done camping, dump water that you have in the system. You don't want to go on sitting in the system, it'll go stale, and that's when you have problems. I've never had to bleach my system. I don't like to using bleach. Bleach is very corrosive. It's harmful to not only yourself but to anything. The plumbing in your house. When TLJ and I first got married, she was always dumping bleach down the line. Like, oh, it was just causing trouble. It actually was ate through a couple of the older pipes in the house, and I finally got her convinced not to use bleach, to use something else. The big thing is, like, when you do dishes, run a lot of water, flush out the line. Don't let that grease or the dirt build up in the trap. So, but I try not to have bleach in the house, so I don't have to bleach this. Again, when you're done camping, get rid of the water in your system, pop open your drain valves, make sure the lines are all dried out, and you'll be fine. Now, we still have to tackle the water tank. Now, we don't have to add any antifreeze to that because there's more than enough room. That's a 30-gallon tank. What I like to do next is actually I'll fill that up about half full. I still have the drain open, just fill it up and let it drain down to kind of rinse out the system. Now we're done de-winterizing the system. Now we just have to do a little cleanup in here, and then we will get ready for camping. But let's go out and add, switch to hoses and start pumping water in the water tank. Okay, I took off the adapter from the city water hookup, made sure that cap is back on, add my adapter, flushed out the lines. I put it in here and turn the line back on. As you can see down below, we still have the valves open, so the water's already starting to come out. Let's go inside and take a see how much is in it. So back in there is the water going in, and there's a valve on the very bottom. I'd like to meet the guy that designed some of the stuff in this camper. They got valves in weird spots and kind of hard to get to. You got to stand on your head in places. Stay on your heads in places, but de-winterizing is fairly easy. Again, Dump the antifreeze, make sure you flush out the lines, make sure it's not foamy, it's nice and clean. Don't be afraid to taste a little bit. If it's any antifreeze in there, it'll get that real bitter taste. It's not like automotive antifreeze, it's not sweet. You shouldn't be drinking that either. But then make sure you add a little water to your freshwater tank, depending on how worried you are about it. You could fill it full and let it drain out. I know I'm just going to do this about half because I know I just have to rinse out the bottom of the tank. That's where all anything that was left in there is at the bottom, so that gives us a good flush out. And again, I got that side where the drain is pointed down. It's the camper's on level. The right hand side's up higher, so it's going to help speed the process of draining that tank. It's real easy. Now the next hardest thing is get dry shoes on, put everything away. Again, on my hoses, I always make sure I couple the hoses back together so no little critters can crawl in there and make a little home between my camping trips. Easy peasy. So, it's weather's going to be nice. I'm going to start cleaning up in here. We still got to put that radio up in the front. We have a couple of camping trips on planning stages right now. I got to get some better gas in Pooh here. She didn't like that gas left over, which was probably starting to break down, a little bit of moisture in there. And it looks like I'm going to be shopping for tire covers. Up on that, 7-3 everybody, happy camping! Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams, subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come out, add comments below. 7-3 everybody.